Trade deadline has come and gone while Kassian Nation enlightens us one last time on a game day before we say goodbye. EST gets you set for the Oilers and the Hurricanes on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. Good evening, everybody. Hope you're doing good out there. Welcome to the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. Tom Gazzola with you live on location from the satellite studios. We've got Ben Thomson back at EST Global HQ. And then, yes, indeed, Matty Kassian standing by from his satellite studios, as well as this is his final pregame show. And we get to catch up with him one last time on the postgame show later on tonight. You can text us 780-218-9999. You can hop into the nasty chat as well. We want to hear from you. Maybe you have a memory of Cass on the air, whether it was with us here at EST or back in the day at 1260, or maybe something from his playing days. I want to see some memories and read them out. I know Cass, it was very emotional on the two guys in a goalie finale yesterday towards the end of the show. Like I said, it got a little dusty inside the satellite studios here. But you know what? We've had a long ride together and a lot of fun. And let's bring in the big man right now. Hello, Cass. Looking good with that new EST cap. How are you, pal?
And I am good. Yeah, I don't know if I was ready for the emotion on Thursday. I was just kind of.
It was real.
It was real. I wasn't ready for it. Probably not ready for it now, but that's okay. It's okay to have those feelings and those emotions.
Yep.
But yeah, just still guys ready to get after this here for I don't want to say one last time, but the last time for now.
I like that better.
And you know, just as a pay tribute to you, the first 3 seconds of you talking there was muted. So
I wasn't me, at least. That time wasn't me.
Okay, sentiment. Just you know.
Of course. How else would we do this? The new format still eludes. I'm just kidding. Yeah, let us know your thoughts about Cass and his time and anything.
Oh no. We're all feeding it.
I know.
Oh,
yeah, I know. And that's, you know what? Just throwbacks to my internet shutting down. It's everything.
This is just the full cat show.
Are we getting it?
Are you good?
Are we getting it?
Yeah. Well, no, you had a
froze for a second.
There,
really?
We're talking about my internet issues.
This is the cat show. This is incredible.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fine. Okay. Well, I don't know. I didn't know why I froze. That's weird. I'm plugged in, baby. I'm plugged in. Anyway, yeah. Let's share your memories with Cass. Maybe the all caps thing. I see that's coming in a lot over on the nasty chat. Maybe Cassalytics. I thought that was good. That was a newer thing.
Yep.
But yeah, man, it's been a hell of a ride, and we're gonna spend a little extra time with you on the pregame show. We're not gonna bother with the Carolina guest. Way bigger stories than the Canes tonight. I know that is the focus of the game, but it's our last pregame show with Cass. Plus, the trade deadline has come and gone, and lots of movement around the National Hockey League. As we get into that, I do need to remind folks that this pregame show brought to you by GCL Diesel, providers of the best diesel engine components around. From turbochargers to ejectors, fuel pumps to sensors, they are the critical engine component experts, proud to serve Edmonton and Northern Alberta for over 50 years. The Oilers 30-24-8. The Hurricanes 39-16-6. One of the league's best teams. So tough task tonight, but the Oilers did beat the Canes earlier this season in overtime. We'll see if they can get the season sweep. That would be great. An important 2 points. And we're going to get into game changers in a little bit. But Benny, do you have a question of the night for Cass and myself and everybody listening and watching right now?
Yeah, with the new additions, obviously, the trade deadline is wrapped up. And the Oilers, their first game here for three guys, Connor Murphy, Colton Dock, and Jason Dickinson. This is a genuine question for everyone, just general. What's their expectation tonight for the three new additions? Let us know.
Cass, I know new additions is part of game changers tonight, but your overall sentiment on the deadline for the Oil?
I mean, I like the pieces they brought in. I think they're a better team now than they were before, like a week ago, before the Murphy trade. They're a better team now. Yeah. Was it a perfect deadline? I don't know. Hard to say. We'll be able to tell you in a couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. But I do like the pieces. Like I like where Murphy fits in on the blue line. I like where Dickinson fits in as a center and adding some depth and some grit. And Doc, he's not as big of a piece, obviously, but he is a guy that is an NHL player that likes to hit everything that moves. It's really physical and tries to be involved. And that's okay too, right? Like, you like that in their game. I like that in their game. So I think they did a good job. People could say, well, maybe if they would have waited, they would have got better prices because it wasn't an overly active deadline. I get that. But at the end of the day, there was opportunity to make some moves that I think make your team better. And I think they're better. So I know it was expensive. It wasn't cheap, but Tom, I think for the Edmonton Oilers.
Cass, to follow up on that, obviously it's hard to tell with, this guy hasn't played a game yet for the Oilers. Dickinson and Murphy are going to be guys that are everyday NHLers. Colton Dach's an interesting one to me. Do you see him being a guy that is being played game one of the playoffs?
Depends on Curtis Lazar.
Yeah.
Depends on Curtis Lazar. If Curtis Lazar is ready to go, I mean, the interesting thing is you could see a decision having to be made between Dach and Henrique.
Yeah. Right.
Right. Like, because if Dickinson is killing penalties really well and playing a lot of minutes, and you look at that last line and you're thinking, okay, Lazar, who really drove the fourth line before he got hurt, from a physical standpoint as well, was playing like a crash and bang, gritty style of game. And it's like, well, who's going to be better suited to that? Is it going to be Henrique or is it going to be Lazar? And the answer might be Lazar. Now, if you're wanting to have a little bit more flexibility from a center standpoint in your lineup, well, then you could play Lazar instead of Dach and then work that line around a little bit. But yeah, I mean, it just, to me, whether Dach plays in the playoffs or not at the start of playoffs really does depend on, team health as a whole, but if Lazar is ready to come back or not.
Experience, though, Cass, in the playoffs, how much will that factor in, or does that matter? Because Lazar's been around.
Yeah, it will matter. It will matter. But I think for that fourth line, you're going to go with who's going to give you the best chance to win and who's going to be the most difficult to play against. And that second part might be the more important part, like who is going to be the most difficult to play against in a 7-game series. And that's where, you could see some adjustments made if guys are healthy, come back playoff time. But the nice thing about adding Dach in that mindset is you just gave yourself a few more options. And that's an important thing, right? You can have more options now in terms of how that set looks and what you're trying to do. Because it also could depend against your opponent, who you're playing and how those matchups are going to work. So you have a little bit more flexibility, and that's where I like it as an add-in. A little bit younger. Yes, he doesn't have the experience, but you don't need every single guy to have all the playoff experience. Like there's enough players in this team that have gone deep in the playoffs 2 years in a row that are going to be the ones that should be driving the bus, and they should be able to pull guys that have less playoff experience along.
I get it. I dig it. And if it happens, then that's great. Dach, for those that are wondering what his stat line is and what his situation is, he's 23 years old, just turned in the last couple of months. He has played 78 NHL games, 5 goals, 11 assists. He's a career -18 with 64 penalty minutes. Again, on a weaker Chicago Blackhawks team the last 2 seasons. Second rounder, 30th overall 30th pick of the second round, 62nd overall back in 2021, younger brother of local product Kirby Dach. So a little bit of a background there. Jason Dickinson is going to be a UFA at the end of the year, same as Connor Murphy. All 3 players will make their debuts tonight in orange and blue. I'm going to sprinkle in some thoughts here. McLovin texting in says, expectation for new guys, don't get scored on. Very fair. Jace, this is in regard to Cass, says Cass is a terrific analyst, like my 95-year-old war veteran and strongly opinionated grandma. She says it like she sees it. Best of luck. That's from Jace. I love it. And then Uncle Jesse says, longtime listener, first-time texter for Cass. Never needed to interrupt a professional. Grateful for his service. Best of luck. Keep those coming in. 780-218-9999. And of course, via the nasty chat, Larzy says, evening boys, thumbs up for Cass with a broken heart. Norman at Combine says, hi guys, all the best. Cass, let's go Oilers, all caps. in honor of our grizzly bear, as Belzy likes to call him. So some nice messages coming in. We'll keep those going throughout the evening and on the post-game show as we dive into the final edition with our game analyst, Matt Kassian of Game Changers, brought to you by Damon Bunting Real Estate. Damon Bunting, a consistent top-producing realtor in the greater Edmonton area for over 18 years, community-driven. He understands what it takes to make a difference in our city. So check him out, DamonBunting.com, or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate. Cass, numero uno. We were kind of tiptoeing around it. New additions.
Yeah, we're getting into it already, and how can we not talk about the new additions? First time in an Oilers uniform in a real game for Dickinson, Doc, and Connor Murphy. As I said, I like the trades. I like the moves. I think they're a better team, and I think that the biggest one, if I had to pick of the three, is probably Connor Murphy. Like I am very interested to see how the penalty kill looks with him, and they may not. Game one, it may not try to overutilize him. Like we'll have to see exactly how they deploy. I'm more looking at you're looking into games 2 or 3 or 4 to see how they're really going to use him, because this is the first one. You skated with the team a little bit, but it's not, you're not into it yet. They're going to still try to figure out the system a little bit. With that being said, I think he's a guy that can step in and have an immediate impact. If he plays 18, 19, 20, 21 minutes a night, which I fully expect him to play, it's going to go a long way to hopefully solidifying this defensive group. And I do truly believe it could have a big impact on how they play defensively. And part of that, guys, I wonder even is just a mental switch. Just that, okay, hey, we have help here. We have reinforcements here. We got better here. And it kind of can pull people along, like the old adage, fake it till you make it in some ways, where, that mentality of, oh, hey, we brought in guys that are going to help. It's going to get better. Maybe that helps. So, a little bit of a transition there now, having some new guys. I think it helps Wallman playing on his own side or strong side on the left. I think for Nurse, it could settle him down. And we don't know exactly where everybody's going to fall yet. I know at the start of the game, you have Ekholm, Bouchard, Nurse, and Emberson, Wallman with Murphy. I do think they're going to, unless if everything works perfectly, lickety split right off the hop, yeah, they'll stick with it. But at some point, we're going to see them wiggle it around a bit to see, and you want to see who looks good with other people. I still think the natural fit to me is to have Nurse and Murphy together. But Emberson has been playing so well that you're maybe looking at this going hey, maybe there's something there. And now we have 3 pairs that we hopefully can trust to put out there. So I think that's the biggest impact of the new guys. Dickinson, I think, really helps if you want to go nuclear in some ways. Even if he's not dominating against, and I know there's people that are like, well, the analytics, you get his analytics that he gets caved in. Murphy gets caved or Dickinson gets caved in all the time. Maybe on a not very good team against the top guys every single night. Yeah, I mean, you're not expecting him to have to do that here, though. What you do want is you want him to be steady, you want him to be stable, and you want him, if you have to go to a nuclear option, to be able to play against a second line, not even the first line, a second line, I think is what you're targeting for Dickinson on nights where you have to. And on the flip side, if you look at the line, it looks like we're going to get tonight, which is Dickinson, Podkolzin, and Kapanen. You could have Podkolzin, Dickinson, and Frederick there too as a potential. That's a pretty nasty line. It's a line that has some speed. It's a line that has some grit. It's a line that really could be difficult to play against, which is something the Oilers have not had much of or any of this year. Lazar gave it to them in bits and pieces, but a consistent third line that's going to play 14 minutes a night, they haven't had that kind of grit here. So I think, again, that's where another big addition for this group. I still think Murphy is the biggest upgrade out of the 3 of them, but new guys stepping in, lots of adrenaline, money on the board, and should be hopefully a good night for those guys, although it's going to be a tough night because those Carolina Hurricanes, they're pretty stinking good, fellas.
Yes, they are. A lot of guys who can buzz, a lot of guys that have speed and skill, and obviously very cohesive in the regular season. Postseason, a bit different story, but the Canes are having a great year, right up there at the top of the standings in the National Hockey League. Cass, like you said, there could be some movement with Connor Murphy. he's expected to start with Jake Wallman. Chris Knobloch did allude to the fact he might move him around a little bit. We assume that is paired up with Darnell Nurse at some point to see if that is a good combination. I kind of described these moves today and how the Oilers did at the deadline. It was on our social media, adequate. Like, I just look at it, I'm like, this is adequate. But it's kind of, I know fans in every market get really excited for all the big names that are out there, and they hope their team lands one of those big names, and they're all right, ramping up for a big stretch drive and playoff run, hopefully turning a really good team into a contender. But sometimes it's not the big move, but the right move or moves that can really solidify a lineup. So I'm oddly curious to see if these were right moves, because they certainly weren't big moves, but they can have an impact on this roster. That's my kind of take on it, boys and Cass.
Yeah, I think they absolutely are. The Oilers didn't have the draft capital to go massive, splashy, and crazy. You didn't have the capital, and you didn't have the cap space to do so. Like, you look at their cap space heading into trade deadline, and the reality that they were still able to trade 3 guys with basically no cap room going into it. That's actually pretty good. So I know it's like, oh, well, why didn't they do more? I think they did plenty. And in a division that is still ripe for the taking, I think you had to. Like, I understand waiting maybe for some people on the other side that are like, hey, they should have waited and spent and got more acquired in the summer. You have an opportunity to win a division in a division that's not great, and hopefully winding up then against a team in the conference final that is just pulverized by the other teams in the Central. So, hey, you had to make some moves. I think you got better. You addressed the biggest issues on your team, and you did so underneath the cap. And yes, it was expensive, but it was still a reasonable expense. Yeah,
prices were high in the market across the board, and teams had to pay a pretty penny asset-wise to get some of these players. All right, before we dive into point number 2 on game changers with Matt Kassian, guys, which trade do you think was the biggest and will have the biggest impact from today or even the last couple of days? Benny, start with you.
It's hard not to go the Nazem Kadri trade. The best team in the NHL just got that much better. And it's a guy that's played there before, won a Stanley Cup there. He slid in and he was the perfect second line center for them, and they missed him greatly when he left. They replaced him with Brock Nelson, who's a hell of a player himself. But now they have both guys. Now they have Kadri and Brock Nelson. They have quite the 1, 2, 3, and then you add Nick Waugh as a fourth center to roll out. They have, I made the metaphor on Reed. The rich got richer. Is the Colorado Avalanche after that deal that we didn't think was going to happen? It came, it was released like an hour after the deadline was done. But to me, the best team in NHL just got that much better with that Kadri trade. And yeah, it's scary if you're one of those teams that's going to have to play the Colorado Avalanche in the playoffs this year.
Yeah, yes. That's a compounding one. I can't not say that because I think it absolutely was. But I will add on this tidbit in that it's just compounded by the Nicholas Waugh addition as well, right? Like you went from maybe being a bit top heavy with your offense, having a great defensive group, maybe arguably most definitely the best defensive group in the league as a whole, if you look top to bottom for the Colorado Avalanche. But there were some detractors that say, hey, if that top line's not going, they don't have much in the tank. Well, guess what? They just stocked up big time with Kadri and Waugh. Like they got a lot better. So 2 trades, I think, that make up the biggest one that were that I think are impactful for them. I'll give a side shout out here to the Buffalo Sabres as well. So I'll give honorable mention to the Buffalo Sabres. I think the Shen Stanley trade for them was a very good one for a young team that's making a push here. I actually really like that trade where they get some size, they get even more stable on defense, and hey, they're taking a stab at it for a good young team. So I like that one too, but I can't not say the Kadri trade. That is just, it's the biggest.
One more shout out. Anaheim lands one of the best veteran defensemen in the NHL, and John Carlson, who spent his entire career so far in Washington, won a cup there, still a 50-point defenseman. And Anaheim just got a veteran guy to help develop, Minchikov and Zellweger and Lacombe and those guys, right? So I said on Reed's show that I don't think it changes, I think, the overall outcome for Anaheim this year. I still think they're going to be a team that's out in the first or second round, but for developing those defensemen in the future, John Carlson is a big ad for them again, and a good one.
Solid get there. Sam Carrick also going to Buffalo. Good character, bottom six guy, will fight anybody, and just a good dude. What about the Sabres striking out on Parayko real quick? Do you think that they should take that as a big time slight? Cass, I'll go to you on that one first.
No. I mean, no. And the reason not is because Colton Parayko earned the right to say no. And should the Buffalo Sabres say a slight? Well, no. I mean, Colton Parayko is not a guy that has never won a Stanley Cup. And he's looking at that going like, well, yes, maybe I could go and have maybe a little bit of a better chance. I'm uprooting my family, and I believe in the guys we have in this room. Mm-hmm. That's you don't want to be able to do that as a team. Don't give guys no movement, no trade clauses. Simple as that. But he has one. He earned it. It's on his contract. So no, I mean, no. Is it a slap in the face of Buffalo? No, you're not. You're not. It's not like they were the best team in the league. Like if he said no to Colorado, then you'd be like, okay, well, you know what? What are you thinking here? Mm-hmm. But it's not like Buffalo is penciled in as like a Stanley Cup favorite. Are they a good team getting better? Yes, absolutely. But to make that decision in a 24-hour period, I don't think is reasonable. And if you would have looked to make this trade in the off season and said, hey, this is the offer, if you're Armstrong and you go to Parayko and say, this is the offer, I can't say no to this. Give it a week, think it over, and then come back to me. Right. It's a different conversation than saying, hey, you have like 10 seconds to decide this thing to uproot your family and something that you had thought you were going to be here for another however many years because we committed to you on an 8-year deal. Yeah.
I was going to say, and there's term to this too. This isn't even just like 1 year, go finish this season.
It's not a UFA.
For some other team. Like he's got term. This is where he's going to live for the next couple of years, most likely, for the rest of his contract. Right. And I saw a clip of Pat Maroon talk about it, where he's like Parayko embraces St. Louis and has so many good ties there. And I don't know, apparently he's dating some girl that runs a pizza shop there and she doesn't want to have her leave and all that stuff. So I don't know. It's a bunch of stuff, but to me, I'm not shocked Parayko said no. I think, he had his competitive hockey during the Olympics. I think he's fine right now this season not playing playoff hockey.
Cass, is there not a famous Italian pizza shop in Clayton, one of the bedroom communities where all the players live?
I think so, but I haven't been there. I can't recall. Yeah. I should know that, but I don't.
And the other thing too is Charlie Guido's, is the Italian restaurant Pat Maroon's brother-in-law and his family own. So as soon as Pat Maroon said that, I was like, wait a second. But I could be totally wrong. It could be a different pizza shop. There's a lot of Italians, good Italian restaurants, good Italian food in St. Louis, surprisingly. Anyway, let's move on to point number 2 here on Game Changers with Matt Kassian. Number 2, Cass, old school style.
That's the Carolina Hurricanes. Yeah, not as many trades this deadline for the Hurricanes as there was last deadline for the Hurricanes. They made their big splashes last year, and a little bit more. I don't want to say timid because I don't think it was timid, but just one trade with Nicolas Deslauriers coming in to bring in a little bit of meat on that on the Carolina Hurricanes team, a little bit of a depth piece coming in as well. Now, I'm sure they would have loved, and he would have been a great addition, if you could have somehow made it work to get Kadri in Carolina. Boy, that would have been scary. Just kind of like the Colorado Avalanche. A little bit more firepower underneath the hood for the Carolina Hurricanes would go a long way. But this is a Rod Brind'Amour old school team through and through. They grind you. And every single line plays the same way. Yes, that top line, the Aho line, has more skill. Yes, they score some more goals, but they still play fast and physical and aggressive. Like if we're drawing up teams that in the past couple of years have the potential to give the Edmonton Oilers fits, and I know it hasn't always been the Carolina Hurricanes, but right now it is the Carolina Hurricanes. Like aggressive, high pressure, force your D-men to skate and to make plays quickly and early under pressure. That at times has given the Edmonton Oilers just fits. If you look at teams like the Florida Panthers, for example, that are able to do that on a regular basis. And this Carolina team does it, and they do it better than just about anybody in the NHL at this point. Like this is a good hockey team that plays incredibly disciplined, and just has some fantastic pieces that are going to be a challenge for Edmonton to deal with. You know, we talk about the Colorado Avalanche and them having a great defense. Well, the Carolina Hurricanes have a great defense too. You know, with Jacob Slavin and Chatfield in the top pairing, like in Slavin, he's still dramatically underrated, but we do talk about him being really good. Jalen Chatfield is also an absolute stud on the right side. Fantastic defenseman. Very, very good as well. Second pairing of Keandre Miller and Sean Walker, also very good. And then a little bit of offense and Shane Gauthier on the back end with Alexander Nikishkin on as well. Like, it's like that's a pretty deep defensive group that has a lot of different looks and a lot of different tools. And then again, forwards, you look at that and it's just like, man, they have four lines really that all will try to get after it and get after you, and that they kind of roll. Now, if there's a weak spot on this Carolina team, it's goaltending has been suspect and so for the last couple of years. And it kind of continues to be that for them where, yes, Frederik Andersen is okay at times. And that's, I think, who we're going to see tonight, but he's not okay at other times. And so, you know, an old school team, and that you're going to see a ton of pressure from the Carolina Hurricanes. You're going to see physicality. You're going to have to be ready to play at times that gritty, patient sort of game, which sometimes gives the Edmonton Oilers fits. So it's a fun matchup. I think a really fun matchup considering the changes the Oilers just made, because it's a big challenge for them. Best team I think they've played since the break, and, you know, heading into a stretch of games where they're going to play some other really good teams here. It's a fun one. So yeah, this old school Carolina team, guys, it's fun to watch, and the Edmonton Oilers are going to have to deal with that pressure.
The Brandon Bussey, really quick. Sorry. He's 25-3-1, but it is Freddie Andersen who is starting tonight. Andersen not having a great year overall, but he has absolutely murdered the Oilers throughout his career. 18-3-3. I'll get into more of the stats a little bit later when I read out lineups. But yeah, I was watching Kane's optional. There was two guys on the ice, the two scratches, and Bussey was in net. I'm like, well, it has to be Andersen because he absolutely is an Oiler killer. So yeah, good instinct on that one, Cass, because that is who we're going to see tonight in goal. Go ahead there, Benny. Sorry, I cut you off.
Yeah, you bring up the point I was going to make with Brandon Bussey. Like, I was talking about it a little bit on Reed's show. Like, he has a 903, Freddie Andersen 874, Kachekhov's done for the year. Like, the story of Brandon Bussey, man, like I wonder what kind of team this is if he doesn't come out of nowhere and kind of save this team. That, like, you highlighted, Cass, like the fantastic decor they have, maybe the best in the NHL. You know, it's been their goaltending that's been letting them down the past couple of years, and it doesn't look like Freddie Andersen was going to save them this year. They're lucky they had Brandon Bussey kind of come out of the woodworks and kind of play some very solid goaltending for them, because I wonder how big of a dip this team would have took if they didn't have him behind them.
Well said, Benny. A couple of notes to get to. I said send in your well wishes to Cass's final pre and post game show with us here at EST. 780-218-9999. Jump into the chat if you're watching over on YouTube. Skinny says, hey, Cass, were you on 1260 with Dean Millard and that old Hockey Night Canada intro music? Great run with the best station. You will be missed. Indeed, Skinny. I took over for Dino after he was done hosting the pre and post game show, and we did have that music. It was a staple because Bell Media paid for it, or I believe CTV. They sniped it from CBC, who had the rights to it forever, and then CTV, TSN swooped in and took it. Calvin CMC says, Cass EST forever. Yep, I'll stand by that one. And then Nolan from St. Albert says, love you, Cass. I've thoroughly enjoyed the 2 or 3 years I've been here as a listener of EST pre- and post-game shows. I grew up in Houston as an Arrows fan, and I watched Cass play on ice live in person in Toyota Center for at least a couple of seasons. Listening to Cass here on EST has kind of been a bit of a full circle moment for me. Lots of nostalgia of my life in Houston, lots of good memories and moments to remember here on EST. I'm going to miss him, but I'm happier for him more than I am sad about his departure. Cass is the man. Apologies for the essay. Nolan from St. Albert.
No thanks, Nolan. It's full circle, right, in a lot of ways. So beautiful. Yeah. Happy that you're able to watch in Houston. It's always full circle for me too, and to hear some of those stories. So I appreciate it. As I've said to you guys, and I said on Two Guys and a Goalie multiple times, one of the beautiful things about sports and about sports media is it's for the amount that we all fight and yell at each other and disagree on things. It's we're doing it because we like the same thing and we want the same thing. We want to see a team do well, and we want to be able to feel that joy together. And we love a sport and love talking about it because we care about it. And it's such a unifying because there's so many of us, not just talking on here, the ones that get to talk on the screen, but there's so many of you that are watching or listening that just come from different backgrounds and different places and different just different beliefs and different experiences. And yet here we are all sitting and listening and talking about the same thing because we care about it. Yeah. And so it's just such a cool thing. So those full circle moments are just very, very special and fun.
All right. Well, that perfectly leads us into point number 3 of Game Changers, brought to you by Damon Bunting Real Estate. Thank you.
Yes. Yep. Thank you, Tommy. Thank you. It has been an absolute pleasure for a long time to be able to ride shotgun to here with you on here. You are an absolute professional. You are I think, extremely talented and gifted at what you do. I appreciate the amount of effort, and I don't think everyone, at home, I don't think you see the amount of effort that goes into it and that Tommy puts in from a preparation and a being at the rink. And trying to talk to people and understand and check on things and to learn and to understand. I don't think you all understand the amount of work that Tom puts in for you, because it's a lot. And I see it, and I know Benny sees it, and we all see it. And I think you maybe feel it. But Tommy, you are a true professional in the truest sense of the word, and I just appreciate you tremendously as on the radio side, and then on the friend side. Tom, you are a good man and a good friend. And that's incredibly important and to say for me. And Benny, it hasn't been as long a ride, my good friend, but it's been a fun one, and fun just seeing how fast you have grown into this role from a not just producing standpoint, but getting to be one of the guys on the screen and talking and sharing insight and sharing something that you are just passionate about. And the emotions of getting fired up and getting involved. It's fun. It's exciting for me. I know it's exciting for Tom and the other guys at the station, and I know it's exciting for everybody watching too, because they're able to see those emotions and those feelings that you communicate and identify with them and latch onto them and grab them. So it's been a pleasure with you as well, and I know it will continue to be for everybody else, for both of you. And from Hernan to all the way back, as you guys mentioned, to Dino at 1260 from years and years and years ago. Yeah. It has been an absolute honor to be a part of this. And it's not that the door is closed forever, because I don't believe it is. It is a see you later. And for all you listeners, people that have been along for the ride for a long, long time, thank you for being there for part of that. We wouldn't get to do this, and I wouldn't have got to do this without you guys. And as I said, it's an absolute joy. When people would ask me about it, and ask, hey, are you still doing that? Hey, are you still doing that? Hey, are you still doing that podcast thing or that sports media thing or that radio thing? And I'd always been like, yeah. And most people usually ask, they're like, oh, like, do you still like doing it? And I'm like, yeah, I love doing it. It's like I'm getting to hang out with my friends and talk about sports. Mm-hmm. And the only difference is that people are either filming or recording what you're saying, but it's like I'm saying the same things that I would say mostly if I was just with my friends, and just hanging out and we were sitting around a fire, or like, sitting having some food before going to watch the game. So it's a beautiful thing. I love the community. I love you guys both, as well as everybody at EST. Again, and I said this on Two Guys, and sorry to ramble here, but I think it's important to say these things.
This is all you, buddy.
It's important to say these things. So it's a beautiful thing to me to see a environment and a culture of people that, yes, laugh, and yes, get in spats, and yes, make mistakes, but that care about each other and that are trying to do something that has an impact in the everyday joy, and that just can impact people in those little moments. And those little moments, those can be big moments. There's I'll just kind of paraphrase maybe a little bit of a Tolkien quote, because I'm a nerd, and so I like some things like that. So I'm going to paraphrase. I'm not going to use the exact quote, but basically that the small everyday acts of kindness, and I would say in some ways obedience, of people is what pushes back the darkness. And for some people, I know that things like this station and things like Edmonton Sports Talk and 1260 back in the day, they do that a little bit for people. And that's a thing that I am honored to be a part of. I'm thankful for that opportunity. So thank you guys, Tommy, Benny, everyone else at EST. Thank you guys, the listeners. We'll still get to chat at the post-game show, but game changer number 3, maybe the best one of all time, is just thank you. It just has been a blessing and an honor.
Well said, Cass. The feeling's mutual, my friend, and I'm thankful we get to do this one last time after the game.
Yes.
Well said, my friend. I don't know what else to say, but thank you as well. And I'm sure it's going to get dusty in the satellite studio tonight, so I'll save it for then. But a joy and a pleasure, and you're an excellent broadcaster and an even better friend. So we'll catch up with you on the post-game show, and enjoy the game, buddy.
Thank you.
There you go. Matt Kassian for the final time with Game Changers for now. Is it dusty in here? Is it a little dusty? Oh, man. Lots of love for Cass in the nasty chat. Lots of love for Cass. He's reading it all. I guarantee it. Brother Morg says, Cass, love you, buddy. Good luck with the new gig. I'm available for post-game, Brother Morgs. Good luck on your next adventure, Switty the Welder says. Matthew Hyman says, Cass trying to win an SD. And also says, nicely done and nicely said, Cass. Bobby LaFrench says, thank you, Cass. Stand up goodbye from a stand-up dude. Man, I got to stop reading them. Anyway, let's go to the locker room and let's hear from the new guys. I'll let you intro it, Benny.
Yeah, let's hear from Jason Dickinson from the locker room earlier today.
Thought on the trade, and where were you when you found it?
Yeah, I was at home with my my kids. We were just sitting down for dinner, and I got the call. Thoughts on it? I'm excited. I think I play a role that I can fill a job here that's needed, and that's all I'm going to try to do. I'm not going to try to do anything more than what I am.
Did you think something was in the works? Did it take you by surprise, considering the way things are going in Chicago?
Obviously, I'm well aware of the trajectory of Blackhawks and what they're trying to do and where I fit in their timeline. It maybe didn't align, so I kind of knew in deep down that something could be happening, and Kyle was kind enough to be very upfront with me from the beginning that he said, it might happen, it might not. I don't know what to tell you right now. This is during the break. He's like, there's nothing to tell you right now, but just be prepared that anything could happen.
Jason, you checked with David always like being on a team with me, David.
Yeah, it'll be a lot better. Definitely have my struggles with him, and I've loved doing it, but it'll be a lot nicer to watch him do his thing.
You touched on it already, but to come to a team where they are expecting something from you that you've already done, for a good chunk of your career, like how comfortable is that, just being on the same page, I guess, with the new organization? Yeah, it would suck to come in here and have them try to put me in a place that I won't have success. Thankfully, we are on the same page. I know what I'm good at. I know what my job is, and that's where my game excels. So I know what I got to do, and I'm going to go out and do it, and that's all they've asked of me.
Most of the guys would like to score a goal more often. What do you like in the way you play in the defensive play?
Obviously, I love scoring goals. Don't get me wrong, but my My favorite thing about doing what I do is seeing the frustration, seeing the will to win come out of guys during the game. You know, it's a battle, it's a fight the entire time, and seeing the frustration build is a win for me, and I love seeing that, because at the same time it usually creates offense later in the game. It might not happen right away, and it might be a 50-50 game for the first period, the second period, but then it's the longevity to stay with it for the third period, where I'm absolutely grinding them down, and they just don't want to do it anymore.
Did you get much on that out of Connor over the years?
I saw some frustration out of him, but he's so dynamic and so good that he finds his way to get points and score and keep himself happy.
So getting traded, it can be obviously difficult, but when you come over with a couple of teammates the way you have, this is pretty unique and different the way this has played out for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't think of many times that it's happened where 3 guys from one team get traded in 2 separate trades at that. It's comforting. It's nice to show up, and Murph is already here. He's already kind of surveyed the lay of the land. He knows what is going on, so I know it was only one day, but it's enough that I'm able to come in here and look to Murph right away for some guidance, instead of looking around for somebody on the team that I'm maybe not comfortable with yet, and I don't really know who to lean on. But at the same time, I've known Doc for a long time. Nursey. I'm going to mix those two up. I'm sure that'll get confusing for you guys. I've known Nursey for a long time as well, so a guy that I'm comfortable to approach and go forward with here. So yeah, it's definitely nice to have a few guys.
Jason, when you think about your teammates in this dressing room, this organization, this city, is the word opportunity for you, and what excites you most about this opportunity?
Yeah, I mean, obviously a couple of long playoff runs stick out in my head that I want to make it a third one, and one that counts. The opportunity to play in the playoffs is something to cherish, because it's been 6 years since I've had my last crack at the playoffs, and as a young guy, you don't really appreciate the opportunity in front of you sometimes, and the fact that it is fleeting, and Murph, I'm sure, has said the same. He's never truly experienced playoffs in his mind. I know he has in the bubble, but in his mind, he doesn't think that was a fair experience. He wants to get the whole the crowd, the buzz of the city. He wants everything. So savor it and enjoy the opportunity in front.
Have you heard about playoff time in Edmonton?
Yeah, I've been warned. It gets rocking in the city, I've heard.
Outside of Darnell, do you know anyone else in the room?
Yeah, Laser, also the same age, some Hockey Canada things, and then we were in camp together in Vancouver before I got traded. Tristan as well, some Hockey Canada stuff, we've crossed paths, and then Connor, obviously, we've played against each other and spent a lot of time on the ice against each other, matching him, so.
Colorado, when you play Vegas, are you against Eichel and McKinnon too?
Yeah, typically with Chicago, they would try different things, obviously give Bedsy the opportunity to play against them sometimes, but majority of the time I was line matching those guys as well. Yeah, but it's my favorite part of the job I do. I want those matchups. Those are the ones that challenge me the most, and they give me the most joy.
All right, there's Jason Dickinson. Will play his first game as a member of the Edmonton Oilers tonight. Interesting to hear he takes a lot of pride and joy in shutting down other teams' elite players, and hopefully it works out. I think that probably those quotes, when people heard them around here, were like, damn, okay, now go do it.
Yep. This is I know everyone's been fired up, whether you like the trade or you don't, about these new additions, and truly, we don't know how well a fit or how good of a fit it is until we see them play. And but what you can take away from his words there, he's pretty fired up to play one in Edmonton, in a city that gets rocking for a playoff series. And I mean, he loves playing against the best players in the NHL. And like Cass was saying, if you can get Dickinson to at least slow down one of the top 2 lines on the team you're playing, that frees up one of McDavid or Draisaitl's lines to play against the other team's 3rd or 4th line, right? And that should only create for more offense from the top guys. So stuff like that, it's Dickinson doesn't put up the most amount of points ever, but sometimes his defensive role can allow for your top guys to even get even more points. So they've needed to improve defensively. They didn't have the guys in the locker room, I believe, before the deadline. They added some guys that should help. So we'll see how it goes.
All right, let's quickly get to your game day odds check, brought to you by Play Alberta. When you play in Alberta, it stays in Alberta, safe and secure. The revenue generated from Play Alberta is redirected to Alberta's General Revenue Fund, which is used to support programs and services that Albertans rely on every day. Your money line for tonight, Carolina at -115, the Oil at -102. The over-under set at 6.5. The over at -149. The under at +113 for the last month and a bit, or a dozen Oilers games. I mean, the last 2-1 game was the 20th of January, a 2-1 loss to the New Jersey Devils. And the Oilers have coughed up 50 goals in their last 11 games. And they've won some of those games. So the over has hit a lot lately whenever there's been an Oilers game. That is your game day odds check, brought to you by Play Alberta. Okay, we're going to dip into the Oilers locker room one more time, then we'll get to starting lineups. Who are we hearing from next, Benny Thomson?
The local boy, Colton Dock. Here's him from the locker room earlier today.
Take us through the moment you found out that you were in Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah, it was just at dinner. I started getting some texts from some guys I haven't really talked to it a little bit, and I was just there asking if it's true, and checked Twitter, and then I got a few phone calls. So pretty crazy moment.
What can you maybe talk about the opportunity here in Edmonton, and also the role that you're looking to fulfill here in this organization?
Yeah, I think it's a great opportunity. I'm super excited to be here. I think just kind of try and bring some physicality, some energy, use my size to my advantage. I think knowing my game and just using my assets to my advantage.
Saw a photo of you as a kid at Rexall Place. I guess it would have been as a kid. What's it like being an Oiler now?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I think my mom and dad are, they were probably the two most excited people on the planet yesterday when they found out. So pretty crazy. We've been coming to games since I don't even remember how old I was, but it's a pretty surreal moment.
Is there added pressure being a local guy playing for you?
I don't really think so. I'm still going out there and playing the game. Maybe walking into the rink it's a little different, but when I step on the ice and tie my skates, it's going to be the same. I didn't go last year. I went the year before though to one of the games versus Dallas. I think there was Stankoven's on there. I played a few games with him at the World Juniors, so I went and watched him on that one. But I haven't been in a little bit, so.
What's your approach to the physical side of the game? Your hit totals are obviously up there. How do you try and use that?
For me, I think a lot of it's probably in the forecheck, trying to wear a defenseman down. I think if you get on them early enough in the game, they're not really going to be wanting to go back for pucks. Trying to wear them down. When there's a chance to make a big hit, you make a big hit, you follow through with it, and just kind of use my size.
You're a young guy. What's this been like, getting traded, mid-season?
Yeah, it's a little different. I'm pretty happy that, Jason and Connor are here as well. Traveling with Jason yesterday helped a lot. I was calling him probably every 15 minutes, what to pack and what to do. So that was helpful. But yeah, it's pretty crazy.
On a team with Connor McDavid, I guess it's a lot on that. Probably obviously better playing with him than against him.
Yeah. I remember. I think this year he picked the puck up behind the net, and we had a little neutral zone trouble with him coming at, and I came back to the bench I just don't know what to do. So definitely a nice speed on his team.
Your penalty minute is not that high, so how do you keep the balance between being a tough guy on the ice but not getting penalties?
Just try and play clean, play hard. I think that's probably the biggest thing is within the rules, within the whistles. But if you take a chance, maybe don't try and put the team on the kill for a fight, but wait a little bit and just see how it develops.
So you talked about how your parents were most excited. Are they going to be at the game tonight?
Yeah, they'll be at the game tonight. I think my mom, dad, and his sister will be there.
Did you and Savoy ever cross paths, growing up here in Edmonton, playing together? Or?
We played together the Team Alberta U16. I think it was Canada Winter Games. I played against him my whole life because he always played underage, and so we'd always meet my second year or something like that. So we kind of always played together, or played against each other.
All right, there's Colton Dock speaking to the media, his first introduction to Oil Country as a member of the Oilers. Obviously, a little bit of familiarity there. I got a kick out of him talking about traveling with Jason Dickinson. What do I pack? How does this work? What do I do? Do I lock my home? Yes, you'll be okay. Breathe. You'll be all right. So Colton Dach will be in the lineup tonight as we get into your lineups. For this one, the Oilers will be rolling out this way. It will be McDavid with Nugent Hopkins and Hyman. Draisaitl between Savoy and Roslovic. Dickinson with Podkolzin and Kapanen. Oddly curious how that line works out. I'm optimistic as well. And then Henrique between Colton Dach and Trent Frederick. On defense, you've got Ekholm with Bouchard, Nurse with Emerson, Wallman with Connor Murphy. And then for the Carolina Hurricanes, tonight, here is how they will attack the Oil. Aho between Svechnikov and Jarvis. Stankoven with Taylor Hall and Jackson Blake. Jordan Stahl with Nikolai Ehlers and Jordan Martinook. Mark Jankowski draws in with William Carrier and Eric Robinson. On defense, Jacob Slavin with Jalen Chatfield. You got Keandre Miller with Sean Walker. Shane Gostisbehere with, his first name is Alexander Last Nikishin. No Mike Riley, no Mark Jankowski for the Canes, no Spencer Stastny for the Oil. Your starting goalies for tonight, 30-year-old Tristan Jarry, 15-7-2, 318 goals against average, 890 save percentage, 2 shutouts in 26 games this season. Jarry versus Carolina, lifetime 1-4-3 record, 339 goals against average, 905 save percentage in 8 games versus the Canes. And then at the other end of the rink, 36-year-old Freddie Anderson, 8-11-5 this year, 316 goals against average, 874 save percentage. And he has played 24 games and has been an absolute Oiler killer in his career. 18-3-3 versus the Oil, 234 goals against average, 922 save percentage in 25 games versus Edmonton. That takes us to the Say the Reed Sport Medicine Injury Report. Connor McDavid's got a team of specialists. You have a bag of frozen peas. Get the same locker room approach that's trusted by the best in the game at Say the Reed Sport Medicine. Book your assessment today at www.saythereedsportmed.ca or call 780-460-9977. For the Oilers, Curtis Lazar, IR, arm. Matthias Janmark, LTIR, shoulder. He has had surgery done for the year, confirmed by Chris Knobloch this morning. As for Carolina, Pyotr Kochetkov, IR, hip. I believe he is also done for the season. That is your Say the Reed Sport Medicine Injury Report. Book your assessment today, www.saythereedsportmed.ca or call 780-460-9977. Benny Thompson.
Let's see if the defense is fixed here with these 3 new additions. I don't think it'll be fully fixed, but I'm very curious to see how Jason Dickinson, Connor Murphy, and Colton Dach change the dynamic of what this team has. I think Dach is going to add some nice physicality, which I think all of us can agree that they need more of. Dickinson and Connor Murphy to be very sound in their own end, help out with the PK that's been struggling this year, and overall just improve, your goals against and just the grade A chances you're giving up. I hope those guys can help out with this team a little bit, slot some guys in the proper roles they need to be playing in, and it all works out tonight.
Chad Jenkins says, I like these lines. Hopefully they play well. Yeah, it's optimistic. At least we'll see if they can be effective. And then Confide says, I'm liking the Oilers' third line as well. There's plenty of time left, Jasmine says, for me to judge. Thanks for the reminder. What are you talking about, Jazzy? What are you talking about? I missed it. I'm sorry. No, it's in the nasty chat. Rip City Step says they're the missing pieces. And then do any of them drive a pickup truck, though, Matt Hyman? I think that's in reference to Warren Fogelli.
What?
Remember Fogel? He drove a pickup truck. That was his thing in Carolina.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, that was a really fun pregame show. Our last with Matt Kassian. And you know what? We really appreciate all the nice notes that were passed along to Cass. It will be his final show on EST as he moves on to an Oilers adjacent role, as he's calling it. And when he's ready to unveil that, he certainly will. But we're going to make the most of it. And maybe we're talking about an Oilers victory against one of the best teams in the National Hockey League. Connor Murphy, Colton Dach, and Jason Dickinson making their Oilers debuts tonight. We'll see if it's the right mix of players and if Stan Moman and Jeff Jackson got it right A win tonight would certainly indicate that they did well. We shall see. That's going to do it for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. For Benny Thomson and Matt Kassian, I'm Tom Gazzola saying enjoy the game. We'll see you on the postgame show.